Díobh go leor Carda. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael John O'Mahony, and I am the Director of the Environmental Education Unit in An Taisce. And I'd like to welcome you today to our National Young Reporters for the Environment Awards for 2022. I'm delighted you could join us here today. We have had a fantastic response to the programme in 2022, and we completely understand and we're delighted that we've had that response given the continued challenging environment that we've had over the last year or so. As many of you are aware, Young Reporters for the Environment, or YRE for short, is an international environmental education programme. And it is a platform that allows young people to undertake research on environmental issues and also to promote and provide solutions through investigative reporting, photography, photojournalism. And the aim of the programme is to raise awareness and behaviour change among young people around the world on environmental issues. We can see through the work that you've been doing, through your articles, through your photographs, through your videos, that you have definitely been looking at local solutions to highlight solutions in your local area, and these are having a fantastic impact. When you get involved in YRE, it definitely improves a wide range of skills for you. Things like your own knowledge on the environmental issue, but also things like how to communicate, how to undertake individual initiative, teamwork, critical thinking, and leadership. So all those things are really brought out while you're undertaking the program. Now, from the point of view of making all this happen, there's a couple of people I want to thank specifically on the program this year. I'd like to thank the judges for their work putting together the shortlists and reviewing the entries. This is never an easy job, and again, it was the same this year. There's a very, very high standard. I'd also like to thank Owen and all the team, including Dara and Kathy, for making all this happen. I have the easy job. I just talk to you on the camera. And they've done a fantastic job in making the program to make it really, really happen along with yourselves. I'd also like to thank Conference Services who are working with us today to make all this happen. Hopefully we'll be in person from here on in, but I think this is the last of the non-in-person scenarios. Finally, I'd like to thank yourselves, the students, for making all this happen, and I would like to thank the teachers for facilitating all this. We very much appreciate your work. We very much recognize and acknowledge the tough times and the challenging times that we've had over the last 2 years in the education sector, but that has not stopped you from doing a fantastic job. So I think you need to give yourselves a huge round of applause. Now, as regards to today, we're awarding 2 categories, one for Green Schools, one for Green Campus. Everybody mentioned today will be receiving a YRE prize bag. You may ask, what's in the prize bag? Well, it's a tote bag with a notebook, travel mug, and some seeds. And Owen will be in touch as to how to arrange delivery of that. Then for entries that are commended, they'll get an €80 all-for-one voucher. For third place entries, they'll receive €150 of a all-for-one voucher. Second place will get a 200 one-for-all voucher. And first place will get a €300 one-for-all voucher. So I think it was well worth turning up here today for you. So what I'll do at this point is I'll hand over to Kathy, and Kathy Baxter is the Green Schools Manager, and she will present the awards for the Green Schools category. So Gura Míle Mágaibh, thank you, and I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael John. YRE has recently been launched across all Green Schools themes: litter and waste, energy, water, biodiversity, energy and global citizenship, and we have been delighted with the engagement across all the categories this year. YRE's 4-step methodology fits well with the Green Schools model. First, students investigate and identify an environmental issue in their school, and then they work either as a team or individuals to research and identify a solution to the issue. This is reported on as an environmental issue with potential solutions through a journalistic piece, either as an article, a photo or a video. And the last step involves sharing your work widely throughout your school and community to raise awareness of the issue. This links in particularly well with the 7 steps work you are doing with Green Schools, in particular informing and involving, which is the ideal way to bring your ideas to a greater audience locally and even nationally. For instance, past winners of the YRE competition have been featured in the Irish Times and even on the RTE News. So our first winner today is a Litter and Waterways group video from St Patrick's College in Cavan. Well done to all the students that took part. Daniel, Harry, Kashindi, Thomas, Dara, Saeem, Shabani, David, Ahmed, Luca, Joe, Dara, Subatola and Martin. The judges were so impressed with the creative use of the underwater GoPro to illustrate litter issues in their local lakes around Cavan. So prize packs for everyone and an €80 One for All voucher are all on their way to you. Next up, in third place, we have Yinka Adiokan, who wrote an article about vaping, is it ever finished? And Yinka is from Balbriggan Community School. So highlights the emerging issue of single-use vapes on the environment, a really interesting topic. So well done, Yinka. A prize pack and a €150 One for All voucher are on their way to you. And now in second place, we have Adrian Drobalewski from St Peter's, Wexford, who made a video about plastic bottle waste. It's a documentary-style video on plastic bottle waste in Wexford town. And the judges were drawn in by the technical skills involved in bringing this ongoing litter and waste issue to life. So another prize pack and a €200 One for All voucher on the way to you. Well done. Now in first place, our Trees for the V's video by Sophie Peer, a documentary from Kinsale Community School's response to the biodiversity crisis. They researched the problems affecting pollinators and biodiversity and planted an orchard and hedgerow to encourage bees and other pollinators. So a prize pack and a €300 One for All voucher is on its way to you. And this entry has also been shortlisted by the Foundation of Environmental Education in the international competition as well. And now we're going to go and have a little chat with Sophie Peer. Congratulations, Sophie.
Thanks so much. I'm thrilled.
Do you want to tell us maybe a little bit about your project and what was your inspiration?
Yeah, so I think I was researching biodiversity in our sustainability class at school, and I kind of realized like how big of an issue it is and how little media attention it's getting. Like I saw a quote at the start of my research from David Attenborough saying, we should be in no doubt biodiversity loss is as grave an issue as climate change. Yet, like, you hear so much less about it than the climate crisis. And I just wanted to do something small to change that, even if only a few people see the video. So.
Well, absolutely. And biodiversity loss is such an important issue. So well done to you for creating the video, and lots of people will watch it and it will help. And what was the most interesting thing you learned as part of your research?
Well, all the research surrounding biodiversity is so interesting and so shocking, really. I think a turning point in our project was realizing 1/3 of all bee species could be extinct by 2030. That was, I don't know, that really shocked a lot of people in my year. And so we decided to plant this orchard that you see in the video. So yeah, that was, but the whole research process is so interesting and like, yeah, it's shocking.
Indeed, but it sounds like you learned a lot. And what has the response from the local community been like to the project?
It's been so positive, yeah. The whole school community and the larger community. I think the video kind of shows how accessible it is, just to do something small in your school or in your business, like planting an orchard. I hope it shows, it kind of breaks it down into the smaller steps. Like I used to think before I was involved in any of this project that like planting something like an orchard would be a huge undertaking and would require so many professionals and everything like this. But it's just when the school kind of pulls together and does something like this, it really does make a difference. So I hope the video kind of showed that, and I think that's why the response has been quite positive in the community. So
that's fantastic, Sophie. Well done. Well, I'm sure you've inspired lots of future orchards, so we look forward to seeing them. And well done to you and your prize. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Now I'll hand you over to Dara Deaver, our Green Campus Manager, who will be awarding the Green Campus category.
Thanks, Kathy. Green Campus has been collaborating with YRE since the launch of a pilot scheme in October 2020, and we've now expanded out to all 44 participating campuses. We work together to promote the programme with campus committees to monitor and evaluate engagement, and have been involving lecturers as a key part of the network. Not just environmental science, but media studies, English, politics and product design have participated so far. This has created a wealth of different solution-based perspectives, which we are delighted to recognise today. First up, we have Highly Commended, which goes to Binder from Maynooth University. This goes to Maria Serrano and Juna Strum for their video. Judges liked the innovative and unique approach, which involves an app that directs you to a bin where you can recycle or compost a particular type of product. These entrants will receive a prize pack and an €80 One for All voucher. Third place goes to Daniel Rogers from Dunboyne College of Further Education for the article entitled Farmers and Climate Change. The judges were very impressed with the insights in the article as to how farmers can positively engage in climate action with particular tips for engagement. Daniel will receive a prize pack and a €150 One for All voucher. And second place goes to Jodie Druce and Mairead Maguire from Trinity College Dublin for their article Trinity Fossil Fuel Investments. This was an excellent investigative piece which was rigorously researched and very well presented. They will receive a prize pack and a €200 One for All voucher. And finally, first place goes to Kate Burke from Trinity College Dublin for the article Climate Change and Religion. This provided a unique perspective on the climate change debate from the point of view of religion, specifically Christianity and Islam, and how religious communities and leaders can be a driver of change. First place receives a €300 One for All voucher. And here's a quote from the article. Given its far-reaching influence and long-standing traditions, religion has the ability to bring hope to the table. And it's not a hope that things will just change, it's the hope that we need to work towards change. It's a hope and a kind of guiding force to change. And now we're going to go to Kate. Hi Kate, thanks for joining us and congratulations. I've a couple of questions. I suppose, how did you get involved in journalism and why the focus on the environment?
Thank you firstly. And I kind of only got involved in the last, officially, in the last year or so. I joined University Times, which is a student newspaper in Trinity, which is the college that I've been studying for the last 4 years. And I was the food and drinks editor with the University Times, which I guess doesn't at first glance seem all that relevant to environmentalism or any topics to do with the environment. But it's something that I'm very passionate about, and I try to kind of incorporate discussions about sustainability and environmentalism into any of the articles that I wrote. And then more recently, I got involved with the Green News, which is kind of an online first news/media publication that puts the environment at sort of its central focus. So I became like a student contributor with them, and I kind of took a lot of what I learned from my degree, which was in politics and sociology, and tried to write about that in a more kind of accessible way. And the environment was kind of something that I always kind of came back to. It's just something that is so intersectional and really is so relevant to all parts of life. So yeah, that's kind of it.
Brilliant. And what's the reaction and feedback been like to your article?
Really interesting, actually. So I kind of first approached Cale Crossan, who's the editor of the Green News, with the article like months ago, like it was ages ago, because I had taken a module in politics called Religion in Politics, which hadn't at all been the first choice of mine. I took it because another module I wanted was cancelled, but I ended up actually being so interested in it and really surprised by a lot of the things that I kind of discovered. Essentially that religion is like kind of growing and increasing worldwide, as opposed to what I thought was that it was kind of, secularization was growing, but that's really just kind of a Western centric idea. And outside of the West, like religion is apparently going to be like important to 87% of the population by 2050. So I'm just really surprised by all of these things. So that's why I kind of wanted to write about the role that religion and religious communities could have in kind of environmental topics and in the climate crisis. So when I was talking to Kale about it, she kind of advised that maybe I should talk to different kind of prominent figures around Ireland who are involved in religious communities but are also climate activists. So I spoke to three individuals in particular, Sheikh Dr. Umar Al-Qadri, who is the kind of founder of the Islamic Centre in Ireland and also a really prominent climate activist. He had some amazing ideas, even within his own religion and his own kind of community in Dublin. He kind of had put forward so many different actions. They were both big and small to help with sustainability and everything. And it kind of discussed that as well as more, I guess, theoretical and theological kind of approaches to sustainability within Islam, which I'm not familiar with at all before that. So that was really interesting. Closer to home, I spoke to a professor in Trinity, Dr. Katrina Russell, who had a background in ecology, but is now like an assistant professor in the School of Religion. And she had some really interesting ideas as well, particularly about the kind of idea of the values action gap, which is to do with the fact that I guess a lot of religions would push the idea of stewardship over the earth and the ideas of caring for a common home and everything, but that sometimes these values don't necessarily line up to our actions. So there's this kind of gap that emerges, which I guess causes a lot of discordance and discomfort with the idea of sustainability. And then I also spoke with Dr. Ciara Murphy, who's an environmental policy advocate with the Jesuit community in Dublin. And she had some really lovely ideas as well. It was all really like hope focused, and the idea that religion can help to provide the kind of why of climate activism, whereas science can kind of provide the how. So just saying there really are kind of complementary ideas as opposed to kind of the traditional idea that science and religion are kind of in opposition to each other. And then just in response to the actual publication of the article, it was really good. I was really delighted to see that so many people had kind of engaged with it and had kind of found it as interesting as I had, because it was really something that I hadn't considered that much before this year. I'm not personally a religious person, but I find religion fascinating. So yeah, everything was very encouraging, and I look forward to kind of looking into the topic further in the future as well.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for joining us, Kate, and congratulations again. And I'm going to hand back over to Michael John. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. Me again. So thank you so much for being involved in our award ceremony today. And at this stage, there's very little more for me to do, but to say Gurv Mila Mila Mahaviv. Thank you all very, very much. As regards the winning entries and the shortlisted entries, you can see those on our exposure page, which is yre.exposure.co. And they're all up there, and Exposure is a very good platform for displaying and showing the entries and the work you've done. You can also find us on Instagram at YRE Ireland. And you can also contact Owen directly for any further information on the programme at yre@eeu.antashka.org. So, Gurv Mila Mahaviv, Slán go fóill.